Yes, that's an interesting story, like that lady, $30,000 through scholarship and things like that. Wow, that's I really, really definitely I am bringing up to come and share a story on this episode. Yes. She needs to so that people can understand because my I also connected to a lot of friends and they also make use of that opportunity. Actually, my guest Ledo talked about scholarship, and I she's going to how she was able to get scholarship and things like that. So if you haven't watched that video yet, you need to go and watch the video on YouTube. And it's my interview with Ledo, Ledo, and she talked about how you can get scholarship opportunities from Google, Microsoft. She was even she even talked about how it possible as an HBCU. If you go to HBCU universities, you have opportunity to what's it called to have many scholarships that you can apply for. And just like you said, it doesn't matter whether you're a green card citizen, just apply, because at the end of the day, they won't want to take that money. They want to spend that money within that fiscal year, because that's that is the only way that can justify that they need that much money. So definitely apply for that. Thank you so much for sharing that. It's very, very important. So now I think another thing I probably feel like most people don't know is how one can use extracurricular activities in school to help build their profile as an international student. Most of these companies, when they are recruiting, they don't just look at what you're done or what you can do. They also look at your extracurricular activities. So tell me, did you do any extracurricular activities while in school? What did you participate in? Maybe not in school, maybe out, maybe volunteering or all those things. Like, what did you do, and what is your advice for people coming in on that regard?
Okay, awesome. So, actually, when I was in school, I held an executive position at the National Society of Black Engineers, which is an organization. So, I was an academic excellence chair, and doing that really helped me because a lot of interviews I got, that's the whole executive position just came up. They asked me, "Oh, tell me more about your role as an academic excellence chair as Nesby." So I'll say definitely get involved in that, and even
Wow.
aside school extracurricular, get involved in stuff outside of school, outside of work. So like you mentioned right earlier, that I'm the founder of Beyond Our Limitations. I actually have Beyond Our Limitations on my resume, and the
Wow,
interviews
that's
I
good.
had prior to securing my full-time job, Beyond Our Limitations came up in the conversation, and I was able to
Wow.
talk about like what I did. And aside that, I also make videos. I make videos, so I still have a YouTube channel, but I'm not active. But now I've gotten
Dude.
to the point where I've started making videos to promote people's businesses. I have that on my
Wow.
resume, and it also came up in an interview. And I remember my interviewer, who was the VP at the company I was interviewing for, said, "Wow, I'm so amazed because you're one of the few candidates we've seen that stands out." And he made that comment after I spoke
Exactly.
about the videos I've been doing, beyond our limitations and all that. So it goes beyond your grades. Yes, have good grades, but find other things you can be doing on the side that will add value. It will really attract people. And last thing, and aside that, I also used to play soccer. When oh yeah, hey, like Olamide, I don't think you wanna.
Oh, coach.
I don't think you want to stand against me.
Really? Oh my god, let's go for it. Let's go for it. I play soccer too, but that's
Yes,
interesting.
and I
Wow.
actually have it on my resume under like hobbies. And I know in an
Wow.
interview I had like a few months ago, the interviewer stopped me and she's like, "Oh wow, you used to play soccer." Like, "Oh my God, we actually have a soccer team in our company. So when you
Wow.
join, if you decide you want to join, you can be a part of the team." And she told me she was also a part of the soccer team, and they meet every. Do you get what
Wow.
I'm saying? So it basically helps
Yes.
break the ice during interviews. So please go ahead,
Wow.
add the
Yes.
things you do that you love on your resume.
That's great. So tell me, please don't disappoint me. I'm an Arsenal fan. So which club do you support? Please. Don't disappoint
You
me.
know what? The funny thing is, I support Super Eagles. I know. I'm sure you were expecting
That's
me
so.
to say Man U. No. And the
So
go ahead, go ahead.
so Super Eagles is Nigerian soccer team, Nigerian soccer team. That's our national soccer team. I don't understand what she's saying by she support because no I support my national team, like I support my country, but no okay, continue,
No,
let's
but
go,
I'm
I
just
won't say
saying
anything.
it's so funny because even though I was really involved in soccer back in high school, right? Like I used to travel for competitions. There was actually a time I went for
Wow.
a competition in Manchester. For it was called the Umbro
Wow.
Soccer Tournament. But aside that, I don't know why I've just never been the type of person that will sit down and watch soccer unless it's during the
Oh,
World Cup. So during
World
the
Cup.
World Cup, oh my God, I'm always for Nigeria, definitely. And then when Brazil was playing, man,
That's
was it
interesting. Yeah,
Brazil?
that's good.
Like I know there was a what's it called?
Nigeria.
There was Brazil versus Germany. So I can't remember.
Yes, there was Brazil
Yeah,
Germany.
where they
Yes, there
scored, was
was.
it
Yeah.
7-0? Who scored the 7? Was it
Yes,
Brazil?
It was Brazil. It was
Exactly.
Brazil that
That
scored.
was the game that I said,
Was
ooh.
wait. I hope I'm getting it right. I think it was Brazil. I might be
Yeah,
wrong
I think
though.
it was.
So for soccer lovers, don't crucify me. I have a lot to think about. So it could be Brazil or Germany, but it was really an interesting match and it was really fun actually.
Yes.
So definitely, yeah. So, but definitely, you hit the nail on the head. Like, you need to add some things in your resume that can serve as an icebreaker. I have added some things in my resume or even in my conversation with people that serve as like, wow, you do this,
Yeah.
tell me about what you're doing and things like that. It really help you. And I like the word you said, stand out. You need to stand out. And standing out doesn't mean technical things alone. For some companies, it could be technical stuff. For other companies, it could be like social life. Like, we don't want to know what you do apart from your technical stuff, like apart from your work life, like what do you do, or from your student life, do you do any extracurricular things? And they're like getting interested, like, oh, this lady has a life and things like that, and they bring it in. So it's very crucial and very important that you do extracurricular activities. They really do help you. Like, look at that. You played soccer. It serves as a point of like conversation with your recruiter. You talked about beyond our limitations, which you founded. Different extracurricular activities bring so many point of conversation. Even if you put like you love movies and you love watching movies, you can even put it when you're like when they're interviewing you and they're like asking, tell us about yourself, and towards the end, like, I love watching shows, and they're like, one interview is like, tell me which show that you're talking you recently watched. And, it kind of relax the interviewer, relaxes you too and things like that. So definitely add that. It's very, very important. We are not just here to study, because as an African, and I know you will say something about that, your parents are like, hey, I want you to study and pass A's. But it's not like that when you come to country like United States. They need to see that you're doing something beyond academics. Do you have anything else to say?
Oh no, I think you basically hit the nail on the head. Definitely, gets good grades for sure, but it goes beyond your grades, because at the end of the day, everyone is trying to get good grades. So you have to find something that will make you stand out. So be as involved as possible. So yeah.
Yes. So I know we talked about what you did in school, but can you tell us like one or two major highlights, like one of those big moments while you were in school that you, maybe it can be academic, it can be extracurricular activities, but just kind of share us one big highlight.
So that's a good question. I'm trying to see what highlight to talk about, whether to talk about my undergrad or when I was doing my master's. I'm thinking I would.
Yeah, go on.
Sorry,
I wanted to like, maybe you should start with the most recent. Maybe the most recent is like the one that you can really remember, but at the same time, I wanted to like maybe one that will laugh very well or something.
Gosh, let me you know what? Let me use undergrad.
Okay.
Because I feel I was more vibrant in undergrad because I was younger. I was more involved in campus in
Okay.
my undergrad. But anyways, I'll say like the biggest highlights. I mean, this may not be the biggest, but this is the one I
Yeah.
can remember. Yeah, it was just when I was a part of African Student
Wow.
Association. You can tell I
Africa.
like, I'll be honest with you, people like to say I like fame and fortune, but I like being I like being out there. So every year they used to do African
Okay.
nights. So I was a part of the fashion show. So that was an opportunity for me to just like strut my stuff. And I mean, I was always looking forward to it. But the bad thing is that there were times that I won't have clothes to wear.
Wow.
Like I'll have to like
Guys,
think so hard
what
about
a way.
something to wear. And there are times like I won't think about any creative idea. So I'll just start like mixing and matching my Ankara and just trying to just see what will work out. So I'll say that was the biggest highlight for me, at least I can remember, just being a part of the fashion show. It was just cool and everyone is looking at you.
I know, right?
It was just
Uh,
fun.
that's good. That's nice. I think I was also part of the well, we don't call it African, we call it like International Student Association at school. And we also are,
Okay.
oh, we don't have African night, but we have this day that everybody wears their culture, their attires. Maybe whether you're from India, you wear what like your typical attire. Then same thing we did that.
Yeah.
Then they cook food. Like you can bring your finest your finest country dish and just bring it. And it was really interesting and
Yeah.
fun, you know.
That was the best. The
The
food.
food, the jollof rice, the Nigerian jollof rice. So that's
Ah.
yes, yeah.
Yes.
So that's good.
Not Ghana
No,
jollof.
Oh my god. So yes, I know. Like, so what? How was the transition like between moving from undergrad to grad for you? And I don't know whether you talked about your major in undergrad and your major in grad. So just tell us the transition process for you, and you know.
Hmm. I'll be honest, the transition wasn't smooth. So, yes, like I mentioned, my bachelor's degree was in chemical engineering, my master's was engineering management. And the reason why I'm saying it wasn't smooth was because I graduated with my bachelor's year 2015, and it took me one
Wow.
year to get my first job out
Wow.
of college. So it was, that story is for another day. It was a period filled with so much
Yeah.
tears, like crying a
Wow.
lot, applying for jobs. And then, like, after working for a year and a half, I decided to leave the company I was working for to another company because I was working in Iowa. And come on, a girl like me, like, Iowa, really? So I left to be with a company in Chicago. It was a big company
Wow.
as well. But that company did not know I was an international student.
Oh.
So when they found out 2 weeks after working for them, they let
Wow.
me go. And yeah, and by that time I had already signed a 1 year lease. Yes, I was paying over $1,300 every month, over 1,300 every month.
Wow.
Right, so I lost the job, and it took me like I think 2 or 3 more months to find another
Wow.
job. And the new job I got wasn't. It was I learned some stuff, but it
Wasn't what you want.
just something I had to. Exactly, like the salary I was earning was way less than what I was earning straight out of college, but I had to take it because as an international student, you
Yeah.
have you can't be unemployed for a lengthy
time.
period
Yeah.
of time. So I just took it. It was like tens of thousands less, but I just took it. And so I'm just saying it wasn't smooth because eventually my work authorization was going to expire. That was in 2018, so I had to go back
Wow.
to school. So it was unfortunate for me because I didn't have the luxury of time to just really think hard about what I really wanted to do. I was actually considering getting an MBA, but the timeline just didn't work for me. So I just had to think about the next best alternative, which was an engineering management degree. There was also certain schools I was targeting, but the timeline did not work for me. But I'm like, let me just trust God and just hop on this next opportunity. So I ended up getting admission into Illinois Institute of Technology for my engineering management
Wow.
degree. And looking back, I actually don't regret because everything is working good. Was able to secure an
That's great.
internship, able to secure a full-time
That's
job. So just to cut the long story short, it didn't seem bright at the beginning, but I'm just grateful to God that everything just worked out
Wow,
for
that's
my
that's
good.
that's the
Yeah.
story there. I know
Yeah.
there's still more in that story, but definitely
There's a lot,
there's
but
still a lot. But
yeah.
I'm so glad you showed tenacity and not giving up. And one of the reasons why I came up with this project, or this yes, this project is the terror story, is for people to out there to like, hey, it might not be rosy at first, but continue to, push on. Like, it took you a year before you got a job. That's the story out there.
Yeah.
Like, hey guys, it can take you a while, it can take you months, it can take you a year, but just continue to look at other opportunities around you. Don't just go
Yeah.
tired and go weary and say it can't happen, like it's difficult and things like that. Yeah, things are challenging even right now. When you graduated at that time, I'm very sure the situation wasn't as worse as it is right now for international students. But one thing you need to know is that you can only just move on and pursue ahead. Continue to just move forward, continue to be forward thinking. I know it can be a lot of time, but just continue to just
Yeah.
I'm so glad everything worked for you, honestly. I'm so glad. And now you're able to
Yes.
go back. So in your undergrad, what's your major in undergrad again?
It was chemical
Then
engineering,
grad you did
engineering
that's
management.
that's good.
Yes.
That's nice. That's
Yeah.
nice.
And to, I'm sorry to call you up, but just to add to what you said, like when you were encouraging the viewers to keep going, I just wanted to share a quote that my daddy shared with me when I lost that job the
Yeah.
first time.
I like that.
Yeah, he told me that the greatest glory is not in never falling, but in rising every
Fall.
time you fall. Like when he told me that hits me like, oh my God, because I think a lot of times as international students we think when things are going bad is the end of the road, but it's just going to be another story for you to share to
people
encourage
out
people
there.
out there. If things do you get, like, if things are all rosy for you, no one is going to be inspired
Yeah.
by you, because you'll be like, oh my God, she had it good
Yeah.
all the way. Do you
I
get
get
what
your
I'm
point.
saying? And if we look at all the successful people in the world today, like they all went through challenges at one point or the
Oh,
other.
that's great. I'm so glad to
yeah.
hear that. That's really, really nice. Before we move to your full time, are you able to get a full time job? Like, I just want, like, during your school days, both undergrad and grad, what would you think you could have done differently?
So for my undergrad, that's the one I made a lot of mistakes. I definitely could have, pursued harder for an internship. Because something I forgot to mention was when I was in school, I was talking to someone that was supposed to be my advisor. Was supposed to be my advisor in school, and she told me that these were her words. It is impossible for
Wow.
international students to ever get a job in the United
Jeez.
States. And it's just really amazing how I accepted those words, because we keep hearing, like, speak what you desire for
Exactly.
yourself. Like, it's not only a spiritual fact, it's also medically proven that whatever you believe, like, your brains develop neurons to make you act towards that belief. So she said that, and I accepted it. So even though I was looking for internships, if I get a rejection, my mindset was, at least you got anytime I get an interview, that's what I meant. Anytime I get an
Yeah.
interview and I get a rejection, my mindset is, okay, at least you got an interview. International students cannot get a job here, right? And that belief followed me throughout my time in undergrad. So guess what? I never got an internship while doing my
Wow.
undergrad. And that's also one of the things that contributed greatly to me not securing my first full-time
Wow.
job on time. So that was
She
the
she
biggest
said it's not. She didn't say it's challenging. She said it's impossible.
it impossible. So she was so
Sure.
direct
Oh
and
my
extreme.
God. You know, I hear a lot of stories too. I hear a lot of people. When I came in here, people say a lot of things. People, international students, give up. They give up saying that it's difficult, blah, 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 and things like that. And they don't want to really even try. And I'm like, I know where I'm coming from. I know where I'm going. I need to pursue ahead. You know, you need to. You see, America is a great place, and we know that we also want to go back home and help develop our country. But at the same time, we know that America is the land of for many, for everyone, or for and land of opportunities, and we really want to take advantage of that, you know, so that we can take these opportunities and serve as a bridge back to our own country, especially developing countries like Nigeria. Like we see how we can bring some of these goodies or these opportunities that will benefit even both countries on the long run, based on what they are deriving. There are a lot of investors that have invested in Nigeria based on people, through people that have studied in the country. I know a lot of folks like that, a lot of founders and co-founders in Nigeria that they came here to study, and they were able to connect with different angel investors and other investors, and they were able to bring those opportunities back home, and those investors are making good on their investment, and it's helping the Nigeria economy to, you know, grow and getting people hired. You know, those are the things we want to do. So definitely, it is very, very important that we, you know, continue to, you know, don't let anybody say that it's impossible. That word impossible, it's a lie. It's a demon, actually. Yeah. So you need to just try. Even if they say it's impossible, just try. Just give it a try. There's no harm in trying. Just give it a try. Yes.
Yeah, and speak what you want for yourself.
Exactly.
Like never let anyone determine your destiny. They say it's impossible. Say it's impossible for them.
But it's
for
possible.
Me, it's very possible. In upper case, it's
possible.
very possible
Yeah.
for me.